So, uh, anybody have any query about our last session? Like, just let me go through with all the basics or things that we discussed so far. So, just a minute. Okay. So, how we will identify it, or how we can make a Angular M module using a at the rate ng module annotation. So the class on which we have a at the rate ng module annotation, that is known as a module class module. Okay. So that is the one thing. Second, we discussed that Angular module is a mechanism to group. So we can group multiple components under the one Angular modules, as well as directives and the pipes and the services. But what are these? We do not need to worry about it, because we will discuss in a details later. Okay, so all these elements put into the one group that are related to the one feature area. Okay, so that is a simple definition we can say of the Angular module. Okay. Next, we go through with a simple example of employee management system. Under that, we discussed on the three basic or basic feature area that we can use in our employee management application. That is a login. That has every application has a login feature, employee, and the report. Okay, and that we are trying to include or try with our sample application, so that we discuss in today's presentation. Okay, so login features can have a login, logout, and authentication and authorization feature. CARD operations on the employee, and the reporting can have any kind of reporting that we want. So that will be under the reporting features. Okay. Uh, then we discuss on the different types of modules. So if you want to our own, then it will be a feature module that will be decorated by the ng module annotation. Root module is a default one that every Angular application that have at least one module, that name is that is now known as a root module, but name is a app module. Okay. Core module, as we discussed, that it contain all the services and that are static, sorry, singleton. So there is only one instance of the particular services throughout our Angular application. Fourth one was shared module. So shared module is a module where we can put uh, our directives and pipes and other things that we can use in a various different other modules. So we do not need to import each and every directives or pipes explicitly in our particular module. So we can simply go through with the by importing a shared module, and then everything underlying the shared module will accessible to that module. Okay. And the routing modules, we didn't discuss too much on it, but routing module is related to the routing of our application, like which URL we are trying to access, and which component will uh, we use, or we execute with that URL we are trying to access. So that is related to the routing module. So okay, like if we are trying to access some page but that is not exist, then we should how we will show the page not found kind of exception and other things. So that is related to the routing module. Okay. Now, so as we discussed it, they already we discussed, so I'm not discussing here. Okay. Sorry. Okay, common model we already discussed. Okay, singleton we done. Okay, so then we discuss on advantage. what are the advantage of Angular module? So when our application start to grow, then it will be very hard to maintain the code or debugging and other things in a single normal structure by the single module. So if you want to make our project in a manageable manner, then we have to split our application into the multiple Angular modules. So that have many benefits, like better code organization. We can code reuse, um, code maintenance will be less, or and the performance. But on performance, we discussed that we can load our module lazily as well as eager. So the module which are required in uh, on without means, if there are some modules that should be loaded on demand, and there are some modules that should be loaded uh, implicitly. So by doing so, we can improve our project application performance, because the modules which are not required, that will not load at the time of application running, but it will load only when we need of that module. So by doing so, definitely it will increase our application performance. Okay, so yeah, that we already discussed. Okay, fine. Properties we discussed, like every Angular module have a declaration section, import section, export section, providers, and bootstrap. So declaration means this is very important properties when we are dealing with the module. So declaration means whatever components, pipes, and services, and directives we are creating under the modules, under the particular feature module, that should be declared under the declaration property. Declaration properties, all these properties are the array. So we can declare a multiple elements under the declaration. Like in our coming example, we will create a employee management application. That will be very simple application, but that will have a component like list employees, create employees, update and deletes, and so on. So these are the components. So whatever the component we will create under the we can say employee feature module, that will be we have to declare under the declaration property section. Okay. Second is import. So whatever other things like we want to use in our module to implement the employee feature, that will be we include into the import section. But sometimes we want that few features we are including, but we also want to export some other features, so that any other modules can access that feature. So we can export that part. Like if I want to allow others to create a list component in a different module, then I can export that particular component under the is this export properties through this. Okay. And providers, definitely what providers we are using, like uh, services and other things, so we can include it under this. And bootstrap, that if we want to include some components while the bootstrapping the bootstrap of the application, then we can mention here. Okay. So as I also discussed, we discussed how to create a component. So there will be ng4 ng4. Anybody? Anyone?
Angular CLI.
Correct. ng4 Angular CLI, G4. Anyone?
Generate.
Generate.
Very good. C for component, and M for
Module.
Module.
perfect. And there is a one another the element, that is a service. So what we will use for service? Perfect. So S we will use for service, C for component, G for generate. Okay. M for module. Very good. So these are the was in the part of slide. Now we are going to uh, going to see the employee application. So I have just prepared the basic things because it take a long time. So I want to directly share, but I will let you know that how I create that. So just a minute, give me a sec. Wait a minute. Let me. Mm, 2 minutes. Sorry. Okay. Anybody has any kind of question till now? Anybody?
No.
Okay, fine. Um, yeah. Okay. So let me open one more thing. Okay, fine. No problem. Yeah. So yes, this is my simple basic application. So you can see here as Ajay is show in their presentation on their project. That is this is the structure of our application. Okay, so we are not going to discuss on this, and also not going to discuss on it, but that I think Ajay already discussed on it, that whatever the modules, okay, that we have installed or we are using under this our application, that all are the part of this module underscore node underscore module. Okay, anybody has any doubt on it? Anyone? No. Okay, so we are directly jump into the actual what we are going to discuss, that is a app. So here is I have a app module. How can I say that it is an app module? Because here is a my app dot module dot ts I have. So there is only one module ts I have. That name is app and dot module dot ts, that we also discussed in our slides. So here the name of the class is app module, correct? And
Yes.
and you can say that we are exporting it, means we can use it in somewhere. Okay, and this class must have a ng module decorator. So this is a module class, so that's why we can say it is a this is the one module that we say that every Angular application must have at least one module, that is this one. Okay, and under that module there is a declaration section, import section, provider, bootstrap, and there is another one, that is the export, that is not a part of it. So we can exclude it or we can remove it from this property list. Okay, so so in our application, in this application, I use employee detail components, employee list components, and create employee component, because to create a employee feature, I need to have these components. I can also use a update update employee component, and delete employee component. There is a other many other components can be possible. So but if you see in a left side on my project, that is a everything that I create, that is a component, like create employee, this one. Okay, um employee details. So every components have a four basic classes. Sorry, four, is it? Yeah. So four basic classes, like CSS, HTML, spec TS, and the TS. Okay. So every component have a four. So I create a three components. So there will be a 12 related files related, but every files are under the same module, that is the name app folder, and are in a same root level. So that is the first thing, that if you want to go through by this way, then we it will be hard to manage the things. Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
Yes. Can you repeat your last line? Why it's hard to manage?
Why it's hard to manage? Because everything is underlying the app folder. So if I am only just create a three components and assume that if in our application have a 50s or hundreds or 200s of components, then this list will grow and grow and grow. And then when I ask you to say to check the suppose we have a 50 modules, 50 features area, like login, employee, department, sales, marketings, and so on. So in that way, there will be a lot of number of components under that particular feature area, and then that will have each feature area might be have a four component, for example, and every four component have a four this kind of specific files. So there will be a lot of list of the files that will be contained under the app module, correct?
Yes,
So if
understood.
if if you want to debug or if you want to identify the which file or which where is it will be the issue, then it will be hard means it will take time, or it will means to navigate that page, it will be it's not a easy task, like, okay. So there is a or there are other benefits also if we go for the module. So that we'll discuss step by step. So in this example, what I'm trying to, I have create everything under the same model, and how I can do that, that I want to show you. Okay. So simply I tried ng G for generate, C for components, and then component name. Like I tried component, sorry, employee employee test, for example. Okay. And there is a command try run. Have you run anyone try this? I think we discussed in a last session. I didn't try yet, but I'm trying to do that. Okay.
It is used for testing purpose. Dry run, I think.
It is
Or
used
it,
to check that where what type of files will create and where it will be created. So it will not actually create the files. It simply it's you can run and check that what kind of files it creates. I think it is correct or not, I don't know. Uh, Shweta, can you confirm is it correct command or not?
Sir, I have not tried this command.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, fine. Let me go inside. What is it? Source. Huh? Yes. Okay. I'll try again. Yes. Try. It was try when I think. Yeah. Angular CLI try run command. It is try run.
It is
Correct?
done.
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah, done. Okay. So what is actually it's doing here? It's not creating technically. It's not create means that no changes. You can see here. Not is there. The dry run flag means no change were made. Got it? So these are these. I just want to show that how I create this. So if you check here, there is a source folder, and that app folder that where we are, from where we are trying to execute this. But after that we have a folder name employee test. Okay. And then under that folder we are creating employee test.component.html, employee test.component.test, and so on. But I do not want to make a folder. So what should I do, or what commands will help me to do that? Okay. So yeah, here what I will do, just a minute. I will there is another thing, that is a flat. So if I use, sorry, flat, if I use flat, then what happened? Okay, can you all see the difference?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the difference? Now the component which I create, it is creating under the app folder. So there is no folder structure is created. So when we want to go through, want that we do not want to create a folder. Everything is should be created under the specific folder. Then we can ignore it. Okay.
मुझे समझ में नहीं आया क्या क्या डिफरेंस है दोनों में?
Just a minute. 1 minute. Here I didn't specify the slash flat, and here I specify the flat, correct? So when I not specify the flat, it's create a folder with the name of the component. Like here is the component name is employee test. So it's create a folder first and then create a all the components, all the files under this folder. But if I use a flat, then it will not create a that folder name, a folder with the component name. It will directly
So
put on the
everything under the default module.
yes. So what I want to explain, just a minute, I'm going back. So what I want to explain, that is I have created all the components under the app folder by using a flat property. Okay, is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Anyone
Yes,
has, if anyone has a doubt? No. So I create what I create. I just want to explain it. Second, first is I create a components. Okay, so there is a create employee component that we need to create employee. There is a employee details that will show details of the particular employee, and there is a list component that will list the employees, all the employees that I created under this application. Okay, so to deal with the employee, I should have a employee class, we can say. Okay, so class may contain the ID, first name, last name, email, and so on and so on, but I put only the 4 and 5 properties. Okay, and then I definitely I need to have a service, the service which will allow me to do a different operations on the employee, like I want to get employees, I want to create a new employee, I want to update, and so on. Okay, so that is a different part, that is another part of the application that we can say we can create any kind of REST API through our Spring, through our .NET, whatever we want to do, but the core concept is common in everywhere. So here I have created a Spring REST API, so that we will not discuss in this application. You just to understand that we are using some service that will returning the information that we are want to get from the service. Okay, so if is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So as Ajay described that in a default app module, we have an app component HTML, app component specific. That is all the default files that also the similar to the other components we created. Okay, and then we have an app.module that we already discussed, that this module may contain all the elements, all the declarations things, and imports and the providers. So here when I create um, this the create employees and list, so uh, it will add this three elements in under the declaration, because we are declaring everything under the app module. That's why the app module should contain this component as under the declaration property. Okay, the imports, what are we importing? We are using ng if, ng for, and so on. So that are the part of anybody, that are the part of
Directive.
common module.
Directive. Common
They are
module.
part of the common module. Okay, and common module is not mentioned here, but there is a browser module. So browser module is a module that provide some browser related facilities, and also it is a part of means it's a part common module is a part of browse module. So that's why we do not need to specify explicitly the common module. And why we do not need? Because the browser modules importing the common module as well as exporting the common module. So we do not need to. We can directly use it in our application. Okay, but do not worried about it. I think we will discuss more on it. So there is a browse module that we use for it, and again there is a we are using form modules, app routing modules for routing. HTTP client module is required for doing a HTTP request. So that's all the imports we have in our app modules. Okay, so this is our normal module. So if I go and try to run that, so what I did for that, these are the individual. I just want to show you quickly. Just a minute. Okay? So this is the our create employee module. So what we will have in our create module HTML, we will simply have a we have a the name, first name. So we create a label and the input, and label is first name and the uh, input is text type, and we bind it with the employee dot first name. Okay, so here how can bind it? By using a bracket and then uh, square brackets with bracket, and then use the ng module. So this is a the binding, this in this way we can bind the JS variable with the HTML. Okay, so whenever we have a value in the employee dot first name, it will show in a text box. So similarly, it will have in a last name and the employee, sorry, email ID, and there is a button that's name save button, submit. So and on click we are calling a new employee method. Okay, so don't uh, worried about it. Is simply just we are what we are discussing here. We are discussing how we can manage the different component that are related to the particular feature. Okay, so don't worried about it how it's going on. So and we have a respective TS file. Here I am using a ng sorry, new employee and go to list and other things. That's it. So similarly, in details, we have a list of employees that will contain the name, first name, last name, and uh, there is another button that's back to employee list. So it will return to the employee list. Okay, and in a details that will have all the employees list. Okay, so here I use a ng4 and the list of employees. So from service, I'm getting all the employees I have created, and then it is iterating each elements and each employees and showing the every each employees in a one row. Okay, and there is a next to each records we have a delete button as well as the employee details. So we can delete as well as view the details. So when we want to view the details, it will redirect us to employee detail component, and we can see the details of employee. Okay, so this is the simple the HTML, the TS code I show you. Employee TS I already show you that it is contain the four properties that we want to use under the employee class. It is simply a class. And next, service size I also show you. Okay, now we need to yes, hello. Okay. So now here, in a what are the points? What are the statements are in the app routing module? So routing modules is a there is a route uh, variable that contains the list of the routes. So routes are nothing that are the that show us or let us know that let us know the application that on which path which component is need to call. Okay. So like here, if I have employees is in a path, then the employee list component will should call. If I want to add, then if in my URL has a add keyword, then it will call the create employee component, and so update functionality is not implemented here, so I just comment it out. Okay. Okay, this is very important part again, that again here is the app routing module. So as per the definition, it should have a ng module annotation, and here is a import and the export functionality. So what we are exporting, again we are exporting the router module again, and in importing imports statements we are using a router module dot for root. So that the here is the one thing that we should know, should remember about it. So whenever we are dealing with the feature modules and child modules, so there will be only the one for root method should call for the root route module. I mean to say, in our throughout the application, Angular application, there will be only this statement only we should call only once in our root app routing module. Okay. So whatever the other feature modules we create, there we will use a for child method. Okay. So because everything is under the root module, so whatever the other feature we are going to create are the child modules of this module. Okay. So this thing that is we should know, or we should remember whenever we deal with the feature modules. Okay. So this is the simple example. If I am trying to run it, ng, sorry. Okay. This is the another one that we can call. There is a two way. One is npm start, that will internally call the ng serve, and second we directly call the ng serve. Okay. So these are the 2 points, two commands that we can use here. And how it is working, means how it is calling this. Anybody except Diksha and Sweta? Hello, anyone? Hello.
No, this one.
Okay. So no, not voice taking time. Okay. Okay, fine. So here if you see, it is a package.json. Okay. So package.json has a script commands like here. So we can use start for ng serve. So we do not need to. It is these all are the npm commands. So if I use a npm start, so internally it will call ng serve. Okay. If I use the npm build, then it will call the ng build. If I call npm test, then it will call internally ng test. So similarly, like we can use all these commands through the npm also. Okay.
npm start और npm build में क्या डिफरेंस होगा?
स्टार्ट एप्लीकेशन चला रहा है, बिल्ड उसको बिल्ड करेगा, मिनिमाइज करेगा, आपकी जेसन्स को सबको कन्वर्ट करेगा. Like we do the code obfuscation, so everything is scattered and in a different or minimized way. So build will do that things. Like if you see here, just a minute.